Welcome back to Yoga Therapy Thursdays. This week we're finally putting it all together. So for the last several months, we've done several different exercises and stretches to help with low back and hip pain. So today we're going to go through all of it. It's not going to be a follow along, but it'll give you some ideas on ways to incorporate all the poses I've been over in an order that will help you feel better. To start things out, you want to start in Constructive Rest. I have a chair here. You can also do this with your feet on the floor. Make sure your forelegs are on the chair. Your tailbone is curled under a little bit so you can lengthen your low back. Your gaze turns up, and you just want to lay here and relax for a few minutes. Tap into your breathing, see if you can soften the muscles of your hips and your low back. From Constructive Rest, we're going to move into some hip mobility. We're going to start with soles of the feet on the ground, lifting the hips up and down for bridge pose. This starts to move into hip extension and hip flexion. From here, we can move into Windshield Wipers. Take your feet a little bit wider than hip distance and allow your knees to fall one way and then the other, working internal and external rotation. Next, try moving through some cat and cow. Inhale, the gaze goes forward, belly goes down for cow pose. Exhale, curl the tailbone under, low belly comes in, head relaxes for cat. You move with your own breath. And really think about articulating the spine. Now that we've mobilized, it's time to work on strengthening. We can start in chair pose. Hands can be at the hips, heart center, and you can lift your arms up or even take cactus arms. In chair pose, we're working on strengthening our glutes, our hands, and our quads. Next, we can venture into goddess pose. In goddess pose, again, your hands can be at your hips, heart center, or cactus. Here we're working our hip abductors, and we're stretching our adductors as well. Continuing on, strengthening the body, we can move into plank pose to strengthen our core. Another option is to do knees down plank. Another important part to low back health is a strong low back. Moving into locust, we help to engage those muscles of the low back, giving them some strength. We're moving back to where we started and working our way into bridge pose. In this bridge pose, we're focused on strengthening the glutes instead of working on hip mobility. And as we've talked about in the past, moving your weight into your heels or your toes will also shift your weight into your hams and your quads respectively. We're moving into stretching. You can use a strap to stretch your hamstrings. You take the leg out to the side to stretch your adductors. And lastly, taking the leg across the body will stretch your abductors. Another great way to stretch the hips is a supine pigeon pose. There are lots of great ways to stretch out the core, but Sphinx is one of my favorite. Not only do you get to stretch out the front side of the body, you also get to work on engaging the muscles in the back side of the body for proper posture. And to stretch out the back side of the body, as long as you don't have any herniated discs, a nice child's pose is a great way to do that. We finally made it to the end of our low back and hip pain series. If you haven't, check out all the previous videos to get more ideas on ways to help you with low back and hip pain. Thank you for joining me this week. See you next week on Yoga Therapy Thursdays.